Hello, it's me, Alex the Hunted, and welcome back to another top 10 list. As you've seen in the past, I've done my best fights, my best kaiju that aren't Godzilla, and I've done the worst of those instead. But I think it's time we went over to the Big G himself and talked about, well, the best Godzillas. These are my top 10 favourite Godzillas. I've based them around appearance, abilities, and just quality of their movies, really. So let's dig in and start off with, of course, number 10. ShodaiGoji. This was the first Godzilla of the new millennium, the Godzilla that was used in Godzilla 2000 and Godzilla vs. Megaguirus. This is a very nice updated design for the new millennium. Very sharp, a much longer snout, and I think the largest spines of any Godzilla. Also, the much larger spines means that the actor has to bend over, giving Godzilla a more hunched over look and making him look, well, more reptilian, more creature, more instead of just like the older ones where it was basically just a guy standing upright. He looks more like an animal in this position. This was also the Godzilla design that was used in the Pipework fighting games, which I'm not entirely sure why they went with this version of Godzilla. I'm guessing it was because he was the new one, but by the time that the Unleashed came out and we had, the Final Wars Godzilla, they were still sticking with the model of the 2000 Godzilla and still giving him his red atomic breath, which I never quite got. I never quite liked, really, the red atomic breath. But that being said, this is the Godzilla that is one of the most badass and just has a great personality, I think. He's a complete stone cold badass, just going from fight to fight, not giving a damn about who gets in his way. Having such awesome moments like blowing up Olga from the inside and surviving a black hole gun. He's a definite joy to watch on screen, and also the suit is the most intact surviving Godzilla suit that there is, and this is the one that's been used outside in post-production the most, appearing in pachinko games and doing public appearances. It's a nice updated Godzilla design to bring him into the new millennium. Number 9. ShodaiGoji. This was the Godzilla that was used in Mothra vs. Godzilla, Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster, and Invasion of the Ashra Monster. And it was a Godzilla suit that also fought Ultraman. It's a definite improvement over the King Kong vs. Godzilla who had this really derpy looking face on him all the time. But this Godzilla, he's got more pronounced eyebrows that gives him a more menacing look. He's also the Godzilla that just seems to have the most fun. This Godzilla goofs about a lot, and it's just always a joy to watch when he's on screen. He's also such a big doofus. Yes, he is Godzilla, so he's big, threatening and all-powerful, but he's also clumsy and just messes up all the time. This is also the Godzilla that gave us the infamous dancing moment, and also the Godzilla that swore.
Oh, Godzilla, what terrible language!
He was just the perfect Godzilla for the transition to Menace of Tokyo to Savior of the Earth. Number 8. ShodaiGoji. This was the Godzilla that was used in Destroy All Monsters, Godzilla's Revenge, Godzilla vs. Hedorah, and Godzilla vs. Gigan. I think this is the most iconic Godzilla design of the Showa era, mostly because this was the one that showed up the most on TV, being that his movies were the most kid-friendly. This is when Godzilla went full-blown hero, and I also think it's this Godzilla that they've been using as the basis for the Legendary series. He defends the planet, but also don't get in his way. And even with the use of stock footage, he has just some of the most fun fights in the whole series. I would call him the most humanized Godzilla, whatever that really means. He is the childhood hero Godzilla that, many of us grew up on. He was the first Godzilla that a lot of us first saw. He was the first Godzilla I saw as well. But that being said, in Godzilla vs. Gigan, the suit was just falling apart, so it had to be replaced. Which is a shame, because I definitely think this is the most balanced Godzilla's face, because it's not anime like the ShodaiGoji was, but it's also still intimidating and threatening. Just a really good all-round Godzilla. Number 7. ShodaiGoji. The Godzilla used in Shin Godzilla. This Godzilla is a Godzilla that we have never seen before. It is the body horror Godzilla. This is the most monster Godzilla that we have ever had. He looks like an absolute nightmare, and also looks like his existence is pure agony. Just the design, just the sheer body horror looking of it, how, yes, it looks like he has all scales, but you can see red all over him, like his body is melting away and just trying to constantly heal himself. How he has these bone-like arms that are really small, and his mouth and face are just jagged and incomplete, like they've just been in an explosion. It's a real horrifying creature when you think about it. There's also the Godzilla with the most insane powers, being able to shoot his atomic breath, which is more like a laser cutter, turning it into like a flamethrower, having his back spine atomic rays, and even being able to shoot atomic breath out of his tail. This Godzilla just has so many abilities, it's so weird. And with what the movie suggests, this was just scratching the surface of what this Godzilla could do. However, I will say I am not a fan of this design of Godzilla becoming the version of Godzilla that is being used as the design that Godzilla is used for all the outside promotion and stuff like that. This is the Godzilla design that was used for the 65th anniversary. It's the Godzilla that's now the statue outside of Toho. It's the Godzilla that's used in the Universal ride. I really like the design, but I wish they would go for a more, iconic looking Godzilla for all the promotional stuff, because yes, this is the one that won all the awards, but I wouldn't call it the Godzilla that you would use for, well, marketing. I mean, look at that. Do you want to buy something this thing's selling you? Number 6, ShodaiGoji. This isn't a Godzilla, this is the Godzilla. The original, you might say. Yes, the first Godzilla used in Gojira is just an iconic design. This is the base work for every single Godzilla to come from it. And well, obviously because it's the first Godzilla, but this is the Godzilla. The one that started all, the one that is in the best Godzilla movie. He is iconic and deadly and just a sheer force of nature. Unlike any other Godzilla, this Godzilla has absolutely no personality, because he's the Godzilla that fits the theming of the nuclear terror of this movie. The atomic bomb doesn't have a personality. This Godzilla doesn't have a personality. It is just there to destroy and to kill. It is a ruthless, unstoppable force. It is an amazing, iconic design that, well, as you know, is the Godzilla. However, that being said, the puppet that they use for some of the shots is very, very goofy looking. Number 5, Final Goji. The Godzilla used in Godzilla Final Wars is just a stone cold badass. He is the most unstoppable, most powerful Godzilla I think there's ever been. He just annihilates anything that gets in his way, and he doesn't even care. He just sees them as in the way. He is not on anyone's side, he is on his own side, and you better not confront him about it. A Godzilla that's just amazingly cold when it comes to who he fights or who he comes up with. He has no problem if you actually helped him out. He'll just blow you up the moment you've done with your usefulness. He is the perfect Godzilla to celebrate the 50th anniversary because it is just the celebration of everything that is awesome about the character. Unstoppable, uncaring, and stone cold badass. Every scene he is in is an absolute joy. Out of all the other Godzillas, he is the Godzilla that you do not want to fight. Nothing will stop him, nothing will get in his way. The most badass Godzilla has ever been. Number 4, ShodaiGoji. The Godzilla that died, the final Godzilla of the Heisei era, the Godzilla vs. Destroyer Godzilla. It's just a really, really cool design. The glowing patches all over his body makes him look, well, like he's dying. This is a Godzilla that's not going to go out with a whimper, he is going to go out with a bang. He is also a Godzilla that you feel sorry for, not only because he's dying, because also he is the Godzilla that, well, has to watch his son die. He's the Godzilla who cries, but also the Godzilla that has absolutely no mercy. He's a very well-rounded character. He actually doesn't come off as just a mindless monster that, the G-Force have to destroy. He comes off as, well, he's threatening, he's intimidating, but also a caring father, which is weird to say about Godzilla, but yeah, he actually cares about his son. And with how you can take it in this movie, he also dies for his son. He is the best dad Godzilla. And I would say if the Godzilla did have a definitive ending, then this Godzilla would have been the perfect one to have the ending for. Number 3, ShodaiGoji. Yes, the most recent Godzilla, the Godzilla from Godzilla King of the Monsters, is an absolute refinement of the original Godzilla that we got from the 2014 Godzilla. He has bigger spines, has more defined feet, and is just larger and just comes off as more pronounced as more of the actual king of the monsters. He also is the Godzilla with the most character, I think. He's the Godzilla that you definitely can tell what he's thinking. He never says a word, but he is the Godzilla that you can just look at and you can tell exactly what he is thinking at the time. He is also, like every other Godzilla on this list, a stone cold badass. And when it comes to fighting Kong this year, well, King Kong better actually bring it because, well, this Godzilla's not going to pull any punches. This is the Godzilla that is the king of the monsters. He is the alpha male, and you better be up to it if you want to challenge him for his crown. As they said in the movie, they're glad that he's on our side. Well, that's the thing really. This Godzilla, he's not on your side. you're just lucky to be on his side. I know you're going to make tweaks to this design for Godzilla vs Kong, but don't mess it up. It's a perfect Hollywood design for Godzilla, so don't mess it up. Number 2, GMK Goji. This is the Godzilla I think is the most outright evil, the most vindictively evil Godzilla there is. That's because he's, well, the reincarnated souls of people who died. That's a very long story. Go watch my review of the actual movie if you want to understand it all. But yeah, this Godzilla is just a stone cold killer. He is the most Godzilla like the original Gojira, who is an unstoppable killing force. His blank white eyes just gives him this completely emotionless, soulless, stone cold killer look to him. He's the Godzilla that looks like a slasher villain, if you get my meaning. He's the Godzilla like Michael Myers. You don't really see his emotions, you just know he wants to kill you. He's also a great updated design of the Heisei Godzilla and also the original 1954 Gojira, combining them both to make an all-round just absolutely menacing and badass updated design, who is completely ruthless. And also seems to take some kind of joy from the punishment and destruction he causes. If you just look at the Baragon fight, he doesn't have to do the things he does to Baragon. He doesn't have to stomp his head into the ground and just kick him while across the floor. But he does it because it's like he's getting some kind of joy from it. It's the most evil Godzilla has ever been, I think. And also that the fact he's in my favourite Godzilla movie of all time kind of, well, makes me a bit biased. But anyway, he is not number 1, and if you can guess by now which Godzilla I'm going to put in number 1, well, I mean, think about it. Which is the one Godzilla design that hasn't shown up on this list yet? It is the most iconic Godzilla design, and that is number 1, the Heisei Godzilla. And this is the Godzilla design that I'm talking up from Godzilla vs Biollante to Godzilla vs Space Godzilla. Yes, I know it's design tweaked slightly from movie appearance to movie appearance, but this Godzilla design is my absolute favourite. It is the most iconic from the best era of Godzilla ever. And also, he's a Godzilla with actual character development. The Godzilla that you first see in Godzilla vs Biollante is completely different from the Godzilla that you see in Godzilla vs Space Godzilla. He has actual character development. He has growth. From an unstoppable destructive force to more Mother Nature's wrath. But not evil. I wouldn't call this Godzilla evil at all. He is the force of nature Godzilla. He is the Godzilla that is the wrath of Mother Nature. But also the Mother Nature Godzilla that can be the protector, guardian, that can also punish. He is the Godzilla that has actual growth, which is very hard to say because it's, well, a giant lizard, a giant prehistoric dinosaur that shoots atomic breath, but he actually has character development. And really is the most iconic version of Godzilla. Despite what Toho is doing now with Shin Godzilla, he is the Godzilla that everyone thinks of. This is the Godzilla, the definite article. The one, the only, and the best. He is the Godzilla I think that embodies every single aspect of Godzilla into one Godzilla. The best one, and well, he's the most iconic I think for a reason. And that was my top 10 list of the best Godzillas. Tell me what you think in the comments below. What will your top 10 best Godzillas be? And be sure to subscribe and comment and all that good stuff. I also have a Patreon if you want to help support me and keep my channel going. And I'll do a worse one list, but I don't really dislike any Godzillas. But not all of them are good. Not all of them are the same level of quality of these Godzillas that I put in my top 10. So maybe I'll do it, maybe I won't. But we'll see, depending on how well this video does. Who knows? But I will see you guys next time when it will be, I don't know, probably the Let's Watch for Godzilla vs Megalon next. Or the Let's Play. Anyway, I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.